Be ye holy, for I the Lord am holy, and I have severed you to be mine. Leviticus 20:26. Now that was written to the Jewish nations, but what is written to all people? Galatians 5:19. Or as the people would say when they're talking about political parties, their walkaway story. Walking away from the Democratic Party to another party, or the Republican Party to another party. We're talking about our sin nature. What's your walkaway story? Galatians 5:19, it addresses our sin nature in the flesh and in the mind, not the spirit. And none of those things are hard to do. But you know what does make it hard? When we don't have a made-up mind. When we're still teetering and tottering. The old man is winning and the new man is suffering. That same chapter 5, around verse 26, we're reminded to crucify our flesh so we don't fulfill the affections and lust of the flesh. Rather, we're encouraged to walk in the spirit. Where he may need to knock some sense in me, he may just need to bump you and you easily comply. What helps us in our transformation is stop making excuses for ourselves. Be honest with God always. If he's giving instructions to the people, why do we want to uphold our wrongdoing and say, that ain't me? I ain't no bad person. You may not be a bad person, but we all need adjusting. So admit it. You know that you like to gossip. You love to hear somebody else's business. And then you get into dilemmas and qualms and drama with people and say, keep my name out of your mouth. But you're right there in the drama with somebody else. When we whispering, you know what they said, that's what I said. That's why I said that. You saw how, that's why I got up and left. You all in it. I don't have no drama in my life. You know why? I make a sacrifice. And I ain't no better than nobody else. I'm not less than nobody. I'm not better than nobody. But he calls us to live a sacrificial life. There's some things you have to sacrifice. We have plenty of prayer petitions before him. And he can't ask anything of us without us giving him an excuse. Ain't nobody perfect. We all sin and falling short. That's your before Christ story, your old nature. The scripture says the seed of Christ is in us. How can you still sin? And then we're afraid to reverse that and turn it all around and say, I ain't gonna say that no more because I don't see any evidence for it. We just keep repeating stuff. But we're damaging ourselves. That's self-defeating. The scripture says, how can you sin if you have the seed of him in you? New nature. Now the flesh and the mind is still wanting to sin. That's where our fight comes in, the old man and new man. There's always a fight to the day of our death till we check out of this bodysuit. There's always going to be a fight. And then just because we're fighting doesn't mean we're yielding. So line up with what God says. He called us to be on his team. You may sin, but that's why our conscience is supposed to come in and keep nudging us. Stop it. Your conviction, stop it. So that God chastise you, get your chastisement, get back up and say, I'm tired of being chastised for this. And you'll stop it. Stay on your walkaway journey and keep offering yourself before God. He knows how to break you down and then build you back up. When God says to die daily. Are we afraid to die? Some of the fear may be if I die, God's going to take some things from me. He may ask me to quit my job. He may ask me to move out of this house. And I've worked too long to get this house. And I've been applying myself and preparing to get this type of job and this level of income. And he's going to say, walk away. He might. I don't know. That's not for me to say. I don't know. God will ask you to do some illogical things. So is that the fear? We want to walk in darkness and kind of teeter-totter on God. I'm going to step over here and I'm going to talk a good talk because I'm a Christian. He's the head of my life, but I'm going to live and operate in darkness. Doesn't the Bible say that mankind loves darkness more than they love God? And we do. Can we admit that? We do. We know before we do something that is premeditated. We've already planned it out. If the seed lives in us and he says you cannot sin, why tell God you lying? I got to sin. And I said that I'm falling short and you leave me alone. I'm going to keep on falling short. Guess what God says, he has already designed the way to win.